This is the mayor of Toronto at a press conference. This is just yesterday, I believe, admitting to smoking crack. Very interesting admission. Let's listen to this little clip. It's cut number 6.
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly. Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
When
but no, do I? Am I an addict? No.
When have you?
Have I tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors, probably approximately about a year ago. I answered your question. You asked the question properly, I'll answer it.
How many
yes,
times?
I've made mistakes. All I can do now.
So, I mean, first of all, this is a current mayor, not talking about indiscretions in his youth. This is something he did within the last year when he was in one of his drunken stupors. I wonder how often he is in a drunken stupor and what else he does when he's drunk other than smoke crack cocaine. But you're talking about last year. But he actually had the integrity to admit it, as opposed to just saying, look, it's none of your business. He said that he's done it, but he's not an addict, but that he sometimes gets drunk, and when he's drunk, he does things that he probably wouldn't do when he's sober, which probably pretty much sums it up for a lot of people who go out and get drunk. Why he's allowing himself to drink himself into a stupor, I don't know. I mean, I know why young kids do that. That happens often when you're a teen. But as you get older, generally you have a little bit more self-restraint, and so you don't end up drinking yourself into some kind of a drunken stupor. But I think what's more interesting than a mayor admitting to drinking and doing crack is the reaction from Chris Hayes on MSNBC. He couldn't care less about the crack smoking or the drinking. As far as he's concerned, nothing wrong with that. See, he's upset about some of the other things that Tom Ford has done that he regards as being much worse than drug abuse or alcohol abuse. So have a listen to the things, because he lists a whole bunch of things that this guy is doing that really bother him. He's not worried about drugs or alcohol. These are the real sins of the Toronto mayor, according to Chris Hayes. Here, this is cut number 7.
Maybe right about now you're feeling a little sorry from Rob Ford. People do make mistakes. Heck, I'm a liberal. I think we'd all be better off being less judgmental and more compassionate about people's struggles with intoxicants. But Rob Ford has done worse things than do drugs. All you have to do is Google the guy to find out. He's used racial slurs. He once claimed there should be no funding for AIDS prevention since only gays can catch it. He's anti-union, anti-tax, and as mayor, he's privatized half the garbage pickup, took away the right of transit workers to strike, cut bus routes, forced key concessions for public sector workers, refused to provide needed shelter for the homeless.
Oh, my gosh. So first of all, he's used racial slurs. Now, I don't know if he's used the slur or not. I mean, how many of us have not used the slur once during our lives? Or there's so many things that are going to be counted as a slur, right? They're saying that the word redskin is a racial slur, right? The football team, they want to say, oh, that's a racial slur. But I'm not sure. He isn't giving any examples of the specific slurs that he's used. But I'm pretty sure that most people, if you got a call from the principal of your school and they were going to tell you, give you a call, hey, we caught your kid drunk and smoking crack cocaine, or your kid used a racial slur, I'm sure most parents would be more upset about the drug use than the foul language. But let's skip that part. And let's go to the real sins, the real things that this guy has done. He's anti-tax. He's anti-union. What's wrong? So in other words, if he were pro-tax and pro-union, hey, he can do all the drugs he wants, just so long as he believes in big government and big labor and extortion. Right? He wanted to privatize the garbage pickup. So in other words, he wanted the private sector involved in picking up garbage because he thought maybe they'd do a better job. Maybe if they were incentivized by a profit, that they might actually do a better job of picking up the trash. Right? Oh no, that's terrible. That's way worse than doing crack cocaine. opposed spending taxpayer money on homeless shelters because he believes that it's none of the government's business, that these are things that are best left to the private sector. Yes, so in other words, believing in the principles of freedom, of individual liberty, of low taxes, to a liberal, right? This is extreme. This is the worst thing you can do. Now, I wonder what other things. I mean, what if he would have said that he beat his wife, or well, I wonder what other antisocial behavior the liberals would be willing to excuse, so long as the individual also believed in high taxes, big government, big labor, lots of regulation, right? I mean, as long as you're on the right side of that issue, we don't give a damn what you do in your personal life. Look, I believe that people have a right to make choices. I believe in legalizing drugs, but that doesn't mean I think people should be doing drugs or they should be, smoking crack cocaine. I might say, hey, that's something that you shouldn't be doing. I'm not going to pass a law that forces you not to do it. Certainly when I know that those laws are going to result in all sorts of crimes being committed by people who having nothing to do with drugs, who don't use cocaine, but might be robbed by somebody who's stealing money to afford it. Or maybe they'll get caught in the crossfire of gangs fighting over turf, over who gets to sell it and where. So I don't want to wage a war on drugs. I believe in individual liberty, but I want to hold people accountable for the bad choices they make. But certainly, the worst choice that this mayor has made was probably smoking crack cocaine. Everything else, I agree with. All this other stuff, I don't know about the racial slurs. I'm not going to say, hey, he should be using racial slurs, but I don't even know what he said, because there's certainly no examples given by Chris Hayes. But all the other things that he did, right, he sounds like a great guy. Too bad he's got this drug problem and alcohol problem, but hey, everything else, he's my kind of mayor, right, because he wants limited government. He wants more freedom. He wants to crack down on public sector unions. That's extortion. When he's saying he's opposing these unions, these transit workers unions, that's because these are public sector employees. They shouldn't be allowed to go on strike and hold the city and hold the taxpayers hostage and negotiate and get raises from the very politicians that their dues help to elect. Opposing that insidious process is what we need. We need more of that. But again, it's just interesting to look at how Chris Hayes, how he sees the world, right? Yes, this other stuff, that's fine. As long as you believe in big government and taxes and you're anti-freedom and everything else, well, we think you're free to use drugs.